Okay. And okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining in today's session and also being consistent with, I know you've been participating for the last 2 days. I really appreciate your time and comments and feedback and participation. Do subscribe to our channel. It's in the bottom of the screen that we will once we upload it on the YouTube, it will show on the bottom of the screen. And do share it among your friends. You can also activate our YouTube channel notification. So any new content that we upload, you will get automatic notification. Also, we want your feedback about how we can improve the existing content, or if you would like us to discuss something new, some other new topic, do share it with us, and we'll do our best to develop the content and share it with you. Again, this is a crisis time for all of us globally. I hope that we are doing our little to keep you guys positive and active and making a productive use of your free time during this crisis period. We will always emphasize stay safe, stay home, stay alert, and stay positive. Without much ado, we will start the discussion. Today's discussion, again, we have started with investigation of theft, investigation of concealment. Today we'll talk about how to investigate conversion. Now, again, when you look at a fraud act, just visualize it. When it comes to the actual act of stealing or removing asset from the premises, that's the physical movement type thing. There you need visualization, covert activities, surveillance. These are very physical actions that you have to deal with, investigate. So you need CCTV camera, you need interview of people, you need to talk to other vendors to get the information about how it happened. Now, after the theft is done, the next step will be to how to conceal this theft. There usually it is more documentary. They will try to tamper with the document, they will try to tamper with the electronic evidence. That's why in the yesterday's discussion was much more around investigation of document, how to review documents, how to investigate a document, how to do computer forensic, all those discussions came in. Today's discussion is about conversion. See, you are not going to steal if you're not going to be able to enjoy it. If you're not going to commit fraud, if you know you will not be able to enjoy it. So at the end, you want to convert it to cash or something that you can enjoy, or some other asset that you can enjoy. So we'll talk about the conversion investigation method. So today we will discuss, explain why it is important to find out how perpetrators convert and spend their stolen fund, understand how federal, state, local public records can assist in following financial tracks of suspected perpetrator. Now here, I will be discussing today a lot about the US system, because every country has its own system. But in America, most of the information are available electronically. Even then, they are not really connected. So the reason we will emphasize on US, it will give you the thought how to do it in your part of the world. In some countries, it is much more automated. In some countries, it's much more localized and paper. So you have to decide how to approach of investigating concealment based on the jurisdiction you are in. The way, but US way is the most discussed and how do I say it, most known to all of us. So we will discuss that. But what we will discuss, you have to utilize your local customs or your local context and see how you can track down the Conversion Act. Access information via internet to assist the investigation of a suspected fraud perpetrator. Now, this is an interesting thing. We don't understand the power of internet yet. You don't know, just type your name on the internet, on Google. See how much information about you are available on the internet. You will be amazed just in the public domain, how much information about you are available. So if I want to do a profile, usually when I go for an interview with anybody, I do a background check on that person. That has become almost like people in the forensic field, we all do that. One time I met with one of the partner of a consulting firm. He's like, yes, I did a little bit background check on you. I said, yes, I also do the same thing, did the same thing on you. So we were laughing at each other because that's the character we have now. If I want to meet somebody, I will do some background check on them. It is essential because there's so much information about you available on the internet. There are many ways to calculate net worth or find out how much money you have unaccounted for. One of the method is the net worth method. We will discuss a little bit about it today. Especially those countries where you have a dedicated anti-corruption commission. This particular method is very useful. Not necessarily they use it, but they should, that's what they should be using it. Now, searching for conversion, okay. It is performed for two reasons. To determine the extent of the embezzlement. Okay, first you want to know how much was stolen. You caught somebody who was stealing $100, but is that all? So you want to know how much was stolen. So you need to do that search. So you have to talk to him and find out, we'll talk about in more detail in the interview process, about the period since when he's working, since when he's stealing, and then it will give you the total amount that you are involved with. And to gather evidence that can be used in interrogation to obtain a confession. Again, I told you that we don't just jump into interviewing people, we gather information. What we discuss in the first day, on the second day, and today is all about gathering information, preparing yourself for the interview, gathering evidence about the suspect's role. So when you ask them the question, you more or less have an idea what will be the answer, what will be the right answer. Not always that is right, you may be wrong, but it will come out during the interview. One thing we have to be ready, I tell you, when you do fraud investigation, you have to accept the fact that you are wrong. Your hypothesis may be wrong. You may have to reset your hypothesis. The theory you started the investigation with, in the middle of the investigation, you may find information that will basically prove that or question your theory. Then you have to rethink about the theory. It's not about my ego that I said so and I have to be right. It's not the case. You have to be fact driven. So always remember, be ready to accept the truth, even if it's that proof that your initial theories are wrong. We will talk about the most common techniques used to investigate and resolve fraud by interviewing. We'll talk about it later. We can collect information from federal, state, local agencies, and other organizations. In case of every country we have, you have municipalities, you have districts, you have the local government, divisions, provincial government, they all carry documents. Another good source of information like in the Southeast Asia is the land record, where land records are maintained. You know, the register of the land, there you will have record of the assets of the individual, how much asset they have purchased under their name, their family's name. you will find it from them. Nowadays, slowly, these are getting automated. A lot of countries are already, they have been able to convert most of these documents into digital form. Other countries in the process of doing it. So as we go forward, more and more documents will be available in digitized format. About criminal activities, you have to go to the local police station and search by the individual's name. You also, in countries like Indonesia or India or Bangladesh, local authorities usually have information about the individual. So if you want to do a criminal background search on an individual, you have to go to that person's home district or where he is residing, because most countries don't have a centralized database. Private source information, you may have, in some countries you have organization that collects information about different company and their ownership. And you will be able to get a lot of valuable information from those sources. Online source, we already told you that online can be a very good source of information. People nowadays put a lot of information about them in Facebook. They may not show how much money they have, but when you go to their Facebook, suddenly you see they're flaunting wealth that is inconsistent with their lifestyle. Recently, it happened in America. This one Russian dude, he was caught by the federal agencies because he was flaunting wealth, expensive boat and everything, and he did not pay any tax. So FBI got him. I think it was last week it came out in Florida. Then using the net worth method, I am doing a job that gives me $10,000 salary, for example, per month. And I'm driving Bentley. So in the net worth calculation method, it will show, can I afford a Bentley, considering my monthly mortgage, my monthly car payment, my monthly other expenses. After taking care of all, do I have enough money to afford a Bentley? So this type of calculation will come out from the net worth method, and we'll talk about it also. This is only one technique, but it's very useful technique, especially the anti-corruption commissions. Those people who work there, they should know this method. You can reconstruct somebody's financial statement from their, or net worth from their bank statement. And that should be a good source of information for anybody who is working in anti-corruption commission. So conversion search. What are the public records that we can look into? We have at the federal level in America, the federal, state, local authorities. Then you have private records like utility records. In this country, it's mostly private sector. In some countries, it's the government sector who provides the utility. Previous acquaintance, people they used to know before, go to them. Trash, go to the trash collector and go through the trash that was thrown out in the neighborhood of the suspect. Credit agencies. In America, we have credit agencies that basically almost everybody has credit history. We can go to them and pull out the record, but for that we need to have proper authorization. And the financial institution, of course, bank and brokerage companies that will give you the transaction related to the individual. So if I am having a lot of financial transaction, the brokerage company's brokerage record will show how much transaction I have done over 1 year period. Credit card agency will show every single credit activity I have, every credit card I charge, every credit card I have ever owned, the address where I lived. Okay, everything will show in the credit agency report. Online database, your subscription, your sometime you have to pay a fee for the search. For example, telephone record. Sometime you can use a telephone number and search whose telephone number it belongs to. So for example, you got a telephone record of the suspect, his telephone bill. He has a postpaid account and you got the telephone bill. All the numbers are listed there. And you want to know, there's one particular number they're calling much more often. There are websites where you can provide the search, the telephone number and the website will give you who that number belongs to. But these are usually paid service. Okay. From there, you can create a profile of the suspect. Who are the people who are linked with? Especially this is involved in if it is a criminal investigation by the police and the law enforcement. In civilian case, I don't think we can go that far. Internet searches, Google, Alta Vista, and there are many other websites that carries a lot of information about your internet activities. There are some paid service that will give you your internet activity for the last 5 years, which website you visited, how long you spent, if you have used Snapchat or WhatsApp or any other application, and which location you used it from, even that it will show that you are in that building at that point in time. So that's the kind of information that is available. Not to mention the smartphone that you're carrying in your pocket. You don't know how much data it has about you. In fact, in most of the smartphone, if you have not deactivated the location option, it records every location you have visited since you purchased the phone. So we can get to your phone, we can know. You may deny, no, I did not go there. I can prove you know you were there. Here is a timestamp. Interesting, isn't it? Any questions so far?
Yes, sir. But this is something private information. How can anybody get this information unless it has been authorized?
Okay, remember one thing, your phone may be private, but the phone is sometimes streaming the data to Google or some other the data warehousing company. Okay, and they're selling this data to others. So I can buy the data from others also.
Without our authorization, they can give the data.
Yeah, unless you deactivate that. Okay. So if you read the news, there are a lot of instances, it was clearly disclosed that, like, for example, Alexa was listening to everybody who's having a conversation around it and was sending this information back to Amazon. Okay. Without the knowledge of the customer. Just imagine you're having a private conversation in your bedroom with your wife. Alexa is listening to you. Okay, not only listening to you, it is recording it and transmitting it back to Amazon headquarters. Okay, so be very, very wary about your privacy. You think you're protected, you are not. Your phone, go into the location site, there is an option where you have to disable it. If you disable it, it will not record it anymore. If you cannot record it, it will not transmit generally. But there are people who can hack into your phone while your phone you turned it off. They can hack into your phone, their phone will turn on, the mic will turn on, it will listen to whatever you're saying, wherever you're going, it will record it, it will turn off, send the message out and turn it off. You will have no clue that it has happened. So I don't want to scare you too much, but technology we have, sometimes we don't even know how powerful these technologies are, and how invasive these technologies are. Okay, but when we are investigating, all these will come into play. This knowledge will come into play. If you are an employee and I have given you a company phone, I have the right to search that phone, especially if it is already mentioned in your employment contract. So I can go to your phone, and you said you went to the site and spent 3 days there. I can go to your phone and see if the location stamp is showing that or not. Okay. And I can prove that whether you are there or not. So these are a lot of information that we are carrying with us, we are transmitting without knowing. So, have fun. Hopefully you will not trust your phone that much going forward. Okay. Okay. Government source of information, federal sources. Now, these sources are not always available to us because for any information that is given to federal government or collected by federal government, to collect it, you need a court order, warrant, subpoena. Without that, usually you will not be able to access it. Same thing goes for any country. When it's with the government, if you want to access it, you have to either have the consent of the individual or you have to have a court order to get that information from the government. Department of Defense, okay, they maintain records of all military personnel, both active and inactive. Department of Justice maintain records related to detention, prosecution, rehabilitation of offenders, okay, the criminal record. Federal Bureau of Prison, it maintains record of who has been detained and how long they stayed there, where they stayed. Same thing in other countries. If you want to go get somebody's criminal record, you have to go to the police department with the proper authority so the police can release the document information to you. Internal Revenue Service, the tax authority, they are another great source of information. But again, this information, to get it, you need proper authorization. If you want to access my tax record, you need to get my consent. Without that, IRS will not release information. If they do, I will be a rich man. I can sue IRS for privacy violation. Secret Service, of course, US Postal Service. This is another great source of information, especially in America, where postal records are clearly maintained. And in fact, if you use the mail service to commit fraud, that's another charge on top of your fraud charges that will get you into trouble. Of course, the CIA, we will not get into that. Social Security Administration, they usually have records of all the payments and everything that related to all the tax information related to my social security number. They can give you a lot of information about the individual. State, in the US case, the state attorney general's office, state prison also have a lot of information. Again, you have to look into from the context of the country you're operating. It just gives you an idea. Department of Motor Vehicle, that has a lot of information about the individual, their driving record, the driver's license, any violation. Department of Vital Statistics, the birth record information is there, the parental information is there, family information is there. I will not get into that because this will vary from local country to country. Country clerk, they usually have marriage information. All of the local information will be there. County land office and tax assessor. Of course, I told you, even other country also, you have the land registry office. In Singapore, it's, I think, the land authority or something. They will have a lot of information about the individual, where they reside, what asset they have purchased, and all that detail will be available to you. All that will be useful in calculating net worth of the individual. We'll come to the calculation later. Local court has a lot of records about you, your bankruptcy, your will, your fraud claims, any previous investigation on you. Permits department, whether you have the proper permits to operate in the country or location that you are doing or the business you are doing. If you are dealing with hazardous material, handling hazardous material chemicals, do you have the right permit for it? Do you have the fire safety permit? Do you have the health permit? Okay, if you have the elevator, do you have the elevator inspection permit? Every country, they have building regulation. Do you have the building permits? I have seen in one country where they have built the whole headquarters, and after finishing the headquarters, they realize that they have no permit. Okay, so that type of situation can happen also. Again, I was telling you, information are available in many sources, but to access it, you have to have the legal rights to have it. Don't try to bribe your way into the information. Don't try to hack your way into the information. Accessing information has to be done the proper way. Collection of information has to be done the proper way. If you violate, no matter how big the crime is, it will be thrown out. You will have no basis. On the other way, you will get into trouble for violating the law. So when it comes to investigation, please, 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 I cannot urge you more. Go by the law of the land. Go by the law of the land. Do not try to play smart. Whatever the law is, immigration law, whatever the local law, you have to follow it. Do not try to play smart. Utility records, gas, electricity, water, garbage, sewer bills. These will give you information about the person, where they live, how long they lived, okay, how they're making the payment, how much gas, electricity they're using. If it is, for example, a residential house, and of that nature residential house, average bill is $100 per month, and suddenly you see that that house is utilizing electricity worth $500. So something else is going on in the building that is causing that. Either the meter is wrong, or maybe you have meth lab going on under in the basement. Okay, maybe there's Yaba factory in the basement. So all that thing will come up. So this information is available. So you have to use that information also. Previous acquaintance, people that you used to work with in the past, go to them, talk to them. If you are doing something wrong now, probably you have done it in the past also. So your previous acquaintances will be a good source of information about you. Trashing, go through the trash. Recently, I was talking to one of my ex-colleague. He is now a managing partner of a consulting firm. I remember one time when we were investigating, we could not find one document, and we suspected that it was taken as part of the garbage collection. So this guy jumped into the garbage dump and went through all the garbage and found the document. So we have to be ready to get yourself dirty. Just imagine going through a big dumpster with all the garbage and waste in it, and he dug through it and found that single document that we were doing, and that was critical for the investigation. Shredded document. If you're using normal shredder, we can reconstruct it. But sometimes nowadays they use very sophisticated shredder, or sometimes they burn it. Then even the burned document can be reconstructed. There are many ways to do it. Original files on the computer. Okay, these all have very good information about you. Credit reporting companies, they maintain your consumer information, your address, your age, your family member, your income, account information like payment schedule, item purchase, buying habits, marketing information as a customer breakdown by age, sex, income level, information on current and former employees. Just imagine your life is written there. Okay, we don't even know. Sometimes Google knows more about us than we know about ourselves. You know that, right? Any questions so far? Okay, I'll move on. Online database. There are certain online database maintained in the West. In every country is different. Europe probably have a different database. In the US, you have these AutoTrax. I have used ChoicePoint, and it scared me. When I put my social security number on ChoicePoint, I was stunned that it tracked everything about me that I don't even remember anymore. Where I lived, how much payment I made, what credit card I own, where I work, everything is there. So these public database are great source of information. These are not, these ChoicePoint, Acquaintring, these are usually paid database, very expensive paid database. SEC, Edgar database, any company that is registered with SEC, they're all financial information. They're 10K, 8K, they're any kind of filing about the company and its shareholders or its officers are all recorded there. We can extract it and see what is happening about the company. And of course, the web search. Publicly available internet such as Google, Alta Vista, Yahoo, they have amazing amount of information about individuals. I have not been unsuccessful ever. Every time I have went and searched for something or some individual, I have always found something interesting about them. But you have to know how to do the searches, okay? You can search by phrase. There are some training available. If you're going to go to Google, there how to do search, how to minimize your search so that you don't get other information. Like for example, you want to search Sharif about me. So you write Sharif Saeed in quotation and do the search. What it will do, it will search everything that has these two words only and give you that. Otherwise, if you search Sharif Saeed, it will search the whole database, any word that involves Sharif and Saeed combined or anybody else will be there. Domain restriction, minus search, these are terms that I would suggest that, you know, learn a little bit about internet search. Google search, what we do is very basic. They're a little bit more available. You can do a Google search about different terms and how to optimize your Google search. You'll get it also. Google search to Google Groups, Cache, Google News, Google Image, Google Art. We used to use Google Art to identify shell companies. How do we identify shell companies? We are doing AML investigation of a big bank. And all the transaction that is coming in, we were searching the location of the company using Google search. And we found out that there were some addresses where hundreds of companies are registered. So we know that those locations are basically shell company location. This is not actual company, only by name. So that can be a very good source. Also Google Art, you will be amazed. Just type your own address. It will show your home on the rooftop. And you will be surprised that that much information is available about you there. Okay, finally, all this information that we discussed. Any questions so far about it? Okay. All this information that we discussed so far is to gather information about the individual. At the end, you want to know whether the person has done any illegal transaction or not. Okay, so how to get to that calculation? Very simple. You take the assets minus liability equal to net worth. So individual's asset, I have a house, I have land, I have a car, I have investment. So all those asset value, I put it together, add them up. And then I take the liabilities out. What are the liabilities? My mortgage, my bank loan, my car loan. Okay, if I am doing margin trade, that loan. Okay, I'll take all the liabilities out. Equal will be my net worth. This is my net worth on that point in time. Now, I have today's net worth, and then I go back to last year's net worth calculation. So that will show how much my net worth has increased over 1 year period. Now, you take your net worth, add your living expense. Living expense means your fuel, your house rent, your food, your clothing, your children's education, all those living expenses. You add them up. That equals to your income. Okay. Now, that's your total income. We're not saying that is your actual income. That's your total income. From that income, you take income from all the known sources. What are the known sources? Your salary, your bonus, your rental income, your so all that thing, if you take out, the excess is going to your fund from unknown source. Is it clear now? Anything, is the calculation clear to you guys? Very simple. It's not complicated. Remember this chart. If you have this chart, you should be able to calculate the net worth of any individual and also find out whether, especially people working in the Anti-Corruption Commission, they have access to all the bank statements and everything about the individual. They should be able to easily find out how much fund they have from unknown sources. So we will do a kind of exercise here. Okay, let's say that this is the financial statement of Mr. Obaidul Kabir. Okay, this is the financial statement of Mr. Obaidul Kader. Okay, a fictitious name, huh? Nothing related to anybody actual. So he has a house that $100,000. He has stocks and bond. He has a car. He has a cash deposit. And CD, basically bond. He has cash for $6,000. He has a mortgage balance of $90,000. He has $10,000 auto loan. This is in the first year. Second year, more or less the same, but he has $50,000 mortgage balance because he paid off some mortgage. He has $34,000 salary and other income $6,000, mortgage payment $6,000. So these are the statistics available. So from this information, we'll try to see if the individual has, what is his net worth, and if he has any other excess income. So as we said, we add all the assets, we come to the total assets. From there, we take out the mortgage and auto loan, and we come to total liability. So assets minus liability equal to net worth. Now this is year one. In the year two, we have 162. That is the change in the net worth from 106 to 162,000 is 56,000 in the second year, plus living expense. His food and clothing and children's education or whatnot, travel expense, normal travel expense, vacation expense. So total income is 86,000. Now his net worth is 162, and his total income, justifiable income you can call it, is 86,000. So, and we take another 40,000 of known income from different sources. Maybe he has agricultural product, or that he sells and gets the information, get money, or rental income. So now we have a $46,800 that is in excess of his known incomes. That is the unknown income. That's the questionable income. Clear? So using the same method, in the year three, he has 74,000 unknown source, income from unknown source. That's the number they need to justify. This is not, we are not able to have a logical source for this number. So that's where we can say that money is from unknown source or questionable source. So this is the net worth method of calculation. Is it clear now? Okay. So that is all for today. Tomorrow we will talk about the interview, how to conduct interview, understanding the interview process, how to plan and conduct an interview, understand the nature of an admission seeking interview, describe the different deception and lies used by the perpetrator, describe the different types of honesty testing, and how to write a fraud report. That will be our tomorrow's information. Last 3 days, what we discussed, tomorrow is the culmination of all this effort that you will put in an investigation. You collect information, gather information, compile information, calculate the net worth, and then comes the interview day. That's your D-Day. That's the most critical day. And that's the most difficult part of the investigation. Crucial and the difficult part of the investigation that we'll discuss tomorrow. That's all for today. Any questions so far? Okay. If no question, I look forward to your participation tomorrow. And thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you very much.
Be safe. Do visit our channel. I'm gradually posting this content. I'm trying to edit it and do it to do a little better edit and post it on our channel. Do visit our channel, subscribe to it, activate the notification, do share the channel with your friends and family member and colleagues, and so that we can get better feedback and improve our content. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Be safe. Stay positive. Do not give up. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sharif. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you very much.